My map says something about a location called Baywan nearby, and I thought I'd have a look at it if there was something I could cross the stream. Well, wasn't too bad. Let's see if there's anything of interest there before I head back. We do have this place right here that may also be interesting. And that'll eventually take me up towards first hold and that final marker. Okay, got a little anxious there. Let's first have a look at Baywan and find out what's happening down there. Yeah. Looks like I found it, but what it is, of course, is another matter. Seems to be all quiet here. Oh, wait a minute. Oh. You can be a member of up to 5 guilds at one time. Right? Okay. Well, I'm currently not a member of any, so... Alright, now let's go down here and find out what's going on. Is there anything interesting down here, or is it completely empty?
Please, this way. Hurry.
Please, this way, hurry. Digging orders. Alright, listen up, you dogs. I want this place stripped bare. Take anything that looks valuable or powerful. We managed to sneak past those idiot high elves. Now's our chance. If the rumors are true, there's something in this hole that will let us blast that smug look off their stupid faces. Just you watch. Now, dig. Komandar the Amazing. Well, some sort of enemy. Alright, now. Oh boy. Oh. Oh my. Oh yeah, I'm out of here. They look a little tough for me. Curiosity is satisfied for the moment. It's always nice to satisfy curiosity, but it's also nice to survive the encounter. And this one thinks he knows when it's time to run away. Alright, now let's head on our way up the road. What is this? Is this what I think it is? No, it's the potency rune. Been a while since I've seen one of those, but still not the type that I really need. So let's head up here. Actually, let me take this. Ah, okay. I managed to take the waypoint off already. Must get back onto the road and then head northwest And we should be back on track. There's a bridge here and a fork. Oh, the fork takes us to the Isle of Contemplation. Yeah. Well, let us see for a moment, but I may have to turn back and do this mission later. Yes, let's see. Be careful here. Alright. Alderaan explored. Gentle reader, I feel the need to edit my unedited thoughts about the beautiful, unparalleled Isle of Contemplation. Without a doubt, one of the most beautiful places in Tamriel. You fair explorer has many happy memories and quiet meals, meaningful looks, moonlit encounters. As I said, my time on the Isle of Contemplation has been magical. I hope yours is the same. Alright. Right. Well, if the Veiled Heritance is here, I'm not too sure magical would be the right word. Oh, who's this? Ah. Well. Could I take him? Strange that he'd be there alone. Well, one way to find out whether to go after him or retreat.
I was just following orders.
Ah! My best attack and it's foiled. Uh-oh, yeah. Retreat, I think, is the word. Retreat! I had a feeling that would happen. College Way Shrine. Way up here. Well, at least now I know where there's a way shrine. Think of it as a something learned no matter what. Alright, obviously I'm not going to find that person. So, we'll go back to my plan of let's take a little. I've never done Soulfire Plateau. Well, Tooth Golly, I know what all went wrong there. Tilia's Folly, I've never finished that up. That person might be a little bit easier than the last couple we've done. Alright, so we will go back to Vocal Guard in order to do our business transactions because our friend there was so kind to give us a free trip to a way shrine. Well, for a few repairs. How am I doing in cash? 8,000. And lengths, things that need lots of repairs. Alright, so we will begin with... And how much do horses cost these days? I remember they cost a huge amount of money.
Welcome, friend. Don't believe my sister over at Skywatch.
17,200. Twice as much as I've got now. And... I didn't hear a word of what she said. Let's see. find someone who... Alright, now we want to go down into... Okay, there's a market there, there's a docks there, there's the stable master, benediction shrine. Bank is up there. Alchemy station, there. Where? Oh, woodworkers up there. Mages guild there. Cooking fire there. Where the rest of the... I thought this place had some nice workstations. We will have to try it. At the very least, we've got a cook fire and a woodworking area. So we'll head out in that direction. See how fast I tire, right? Oh, actually, I think that's the main station right there, isn't it? Yeah. Alright, now, let's go and take care of a little bit of selling. Oh. Alright, let's see.
You're here to work metal, yeah? Check my wares before you get your hands dirty. You'll find something worth buying. I guarantee it.
Right. Let's see what we've got here. We've got a... Oh, always fun trying to decide what to actually sell. Obviously, the dangerous husk. That. Dagger, the gauntlets. Those things, let's see. There. Rawhide jack. Well, that's not too bad. If we could slap an enchantment on it. I think repairing the other might be better. Scamp Crusher. Two-handed mace. I don't think I have much need of a two-handed mace. Very well, that takes care of that. So now let's break down a few things.
All hear and know the truth. I, King Lady Estri,
Assuming... one of those days. Or is there another one? But I think that's... I always have trouble with that blacksmithing station. It just doesn't like to cooperate sometimes. Oh, let's go to the closing station and see what we can do here. Not that I can really make much of use here, can I? Actually, I could. Yes, I did. Alright, now. So, is there anything I can create here? I'll need to get some... tin... Well, that's the problem. Alright, is there anything that will be a good upgrade? Okay, my guards are... Guards, my bracers, my... That's okay. Probably need a helmet.
The Veiled Queen has been unmasked. I, King Lady Estri, makes pact with Daedra.
Looks like the helmet and the boots are the most likely ones, but nothing really cries out. So let's do some decon instead. Oh, research. Is there anything that can be researched? Impenetrable. Or divines. Increases Mundus stone effects. Whatever that means.
The Defiance Festival goes on.
That's awesome. Alright, so that's the other. So only we've got impenetrable seems to be the trait that'll be easiest for me to study. Either from a jacket or from binder's robe. Alright, let's research the trait. Do a little bit of research. Anything I can improve here? I can improve this belt.
All hear and know the truth.
Yeah, let's see what happens if I try to improve this belt.
Knows as Daedra's Rightoeus.
I've got... Yeah, I've got half a chance of succeeding. And... Oh. Alright, let's have it. And do we win or lose? Boom, boom, boom. Alright, well, it was worth a shot. Alright, now we trade. Decon that. Just some jute.
I, King Lady Estri,
Might have been better.
opposes the Veiled Queen. All from the murderer, the usurper.
And it got some hemming. Ah, yeah. Just piece of that might have been better just to sell. Alright, that tells. But that clears out some of my inventory that I've had there. Now, with the next thing we want to do is to what about the alchemy stuff? I think I've right, I know what the cornflower does. I know what the bugloss. Bugloss is spell resistance. Cornflower is restore magicka. Hops is for making beer. Yeah, I think I really need that. We need an anvil to break most of these apart. I guess either that or just sell them if it's not cooperating today. Right. Or a woodworker thing to break down some of these staves. Selling might be a good idea. Yeah, that's not going to let me in on it. Alright. Finicky blacksmithing stations. Right, now let's head off for, let's see, Mage's Guild, woodworker. All that way. must have trouble finding this place. Alright, woodworker. Now, let's see. Got quite a bit of stuff here. Now, let's see. Maple bow of flame. Actually, that was... all this is sick. Alright.
You think the Daedra are going to wait for you?
Actually, research might be a better thing to do with some of these items, if anything is researchable on here. Infused. Increases weapon enchantment effect. Well, let's research that. Alright, let's research that. And let's... well, sometimes you don't get much out of it. Sometimes, yeah, but sometimes you get a stone out of it. Might be better just selling the stuff. Let me see. How much do they charge for the things I'm usually getting out of these?
These saws are flatter than mine. Oh, carpentry. It's a labor of love. Unrequited, I'm afraid. What can I get you?
Unrequited. Oh yeah, because they usually only charge 15 for those style areas, so deconning is maybe useful for pulling up your skill, but it looks like it's not a useful source of... because so let me sell lots of stuff then. Well, I'll keep the ingredients I've got. And clear water. I think it's just time to start selling things and getting my... assuming I find something sellable. Glyphs. Yeah, including these jewelry glyphs are just... I'm just tired of jewelry glyphs and... right, because I've got... much. There, yeah. Just sell stuff. Oh, item cannot be sold. Oh. Cannot be sold. Why not? Collaborate on discharge feat, a token of esteem directly from the Queen. Okay, they won't let you sell a gift from the Queen then. Alright. Scamp chaser as a two-handed mace. Nah. Sell that. Sell that. Alright. Now that clears out a great deal of space. And just dump the rest into the bank. Now if I can actually... the other thing I need to do is to...
The teeth on these saws are flatter than mine. Oh, carpentry. It's a labor of love. Unrequited, I'm afraid. What can I get you?
yeah, let's repair all that stuff. Alright, now I've got 7,000. So I'll have to head off into the bank. Oh no, not the Mages Guild, not the Mages Guild. Oh well, the Mages Guild.
Don't let this theory of
Might as well see if there's anyone here with a quest.
vectors throw you. It's really quite simple.
Don't let the theory of non-conjoined thaumaturgic vectors throw you. It's really quite simple. If whatever you say. Now, let us... Now the bank is... Oh, way up there. Back up, and then we should be up to our banking site. How fast can we run? How fast can we use up all our stamina?
You stood among the standing stones of Tamriel. Ariel be praised.
Whatever she said.
Fivefold venerations, my friend. You've come to make a deposit, yes?
Oh, well, we'll see what I come to do. Let's see. Actually, how many things we've got left in here? I've got no real space left, but bank is full. Yes, of course. It's always full. Alright. Can't put anything new in there. So I'll have to settle for putting the old stuff in there. And I know that the tater is, let's see, rawhide scrapped. Yeah, that can go in there. That can go in there. Ah, yeah, that's a much lighter load at least. Oh, yes, of course. Much lighter load. Yeah. Much lighter. Now let's see if I can cook anything and get rid of those eggs. Now we have... Okay, there's a fire down there. Is there a closer one? Oh, okay, at the market right down there. And that's closer to the way shrine than the other fire. After I do that, I can then head out back to the, yeah, trying to see if that looks anything like that map. No, it doesn't. Oh, okay. I know. Cooking in a thunderstorm, that is not exactly what you call the most sensible thing one can do. Gorkish? Surely I need to find some more interesting things to craft. Some better recipes. Alright, that takes care of that. As for the roast pig, I think I got enough of that. Well, let's see. Of course I don't use it all that often either, which is another reason why I've got plenty of it. But at least to get the stuff out of my inventory, right? No, actually, that's all in the bank. What do I have for beverages? Meat, muscat, dark meat bear, and sundusk ale. I'll worry about that later. Now I've got what I need. Let's go up. And head out to... where shall we go? Oh yes, I wanted to... Fire Plateau. I'm trying to remember if I did something there or not. Actually, oh yes, that's that place where... I think I was getting squished up there and decided not to bother. So I'll go back to not bothering. Now we've got Hollendale up there. Actually, let's resume our journey. For now, let's go back to the College Way Shrine. And resume our regularly scheduled journey. And in this case, we want to come down here. And then head north. That looks like an interesting spot. Yeah. And what is this? This tower. Anyone home? Dusky Claret. Oh, now I find it a good new recipe. Dusky Claret recipe. Alright, I wonder what kind of item I can make with that. Of course, now I'm no longer near the fire, so I can't check it out. Always the case, isn't it? Well, lots of little things you can get here. But, no way upstairs? Or is this the stairway? Oh. That was a misleading sign. Oh. A painter of some sort. Where's this waterfall that... I don't know about you, but I don't see that waterfall. Must have quite imagination if they're doing all that. And it looks like they're trying to paint something, but you would think they would be looking at what they're trying to paint. Most interesting. Well, I thought it would have been a perfect place to have put a sky shard. Would have been up here, but I suppose Such an assumption was a poor one. Oh. Ah, okay, there's a... Alright, back downstairs. Worth a shot. But it looks like that doesn't work. So let's go to... see how far we can get, actually. At my pace, 10 feet. Alright, now. What's this? Tornon. Some sort of ruins, probably. Well, I guess I should have expected that. Alright. Let's explore them and see whether or not they are. It looks like. Let's see if there's anyone there who is. Yeah, alright, let's go in here. What have we got?
Ariel, keep and sustain me. Give me strength and thank the eight. Please, you have to help us. We can't keep them contained much longer.
Oh, what's going on?
You have come to Torinon at a dark time, pilgrim. Normally, these ruins are a beacon of light to the faithful. Now it's all we can do to hold the corruption at bay. Please, seek out our leader, our Aldark. She can tell you what must be done.
Alright, I'll find out what needs to be done. Assuming... listing of the eight. Yeah, let me find out what's out here before I get too deep into this. Ew. Well, I think I might be going a little deep at the moment. A little bit deep. That's the problem, is finding out what I can... Oh, now I find a merchant. Alright, let's... Oh, there's a port town up there. And you know I'm looking for port towns just in case one of them... A lost merchant, apparently. She just turned around. Alright. Certainly at some point I am going to find... Alright. Yeah, let me turn up here. And what's in this port town? Most likely it's going to have something that's over my head. And if it is, I am just going to have to go and... Okay. That's not a good sign.
Please, stars above, help me.
What's wrong?
The daggers. They're here. They followed us home.
Daggers? You mean as in Daggerfall Covenant?
Oriel, forgive us. We rendezvoused with a Covenant officer and her husband. She wanted to defect. The damned daggers caught wind of it and chased us all the way from Kefram.
Where is she now?
She's on a ship down in the cove. You have to find her before they execute her. When you've got her, Get her up to the lighthouse. That's where you'll find the remainder of my squad.
Alright, I'll see what I can do.
Hurry, Traveler. My comrades at the lighthouse, they can't hold out forever. And who knows when the daggers will decide to off the orc.
The Defector is an orc?
She's thrice blessed she is. Xarxesr Groramat commanded a unit in Glenumbra, saw the hypocrisy of the daggers firsthand. She and her husband managed to flee to the wilds of Kefram. Got us word through a Bendari peddler.
And do you trust her?
Think so. As far as you can trust any orc. She's loyal enough. Refused to leave her husband behind. No negotiation on that point.
And why did your squad pick her up?
Don't recognize my insignia, do you? We're with the Talons. The Queen has her eyes, yes?
Yeah.
The Battle Reeve has his talons. We work with some of the other covert units. Provide strong arms where they're needed.
And the Battle Reeve has you working with the Queen's eyes to collect the Defector?
You've got it. Breath of Oriel, a few times we were their only protection. Don't know if any of the eyes are still up there with my squad. Hope so. They're brave. When they're not hiding under a bush.
Oh, well, I guess I am. Which leaves... Alright, so we got the lighthouse there. Find the Covenant. Save the Covenant Defector. Beacon Falls. And... help an orc. Wonderful. Ever thought I'd be wanting to help an orc? Now, the question is... Alright, North Beacon. Well, this is going to be a real tough one. But looks like... Is there any enemies in the area? Covenant Storm Mage. Yes, I thought this is going to be a rather rough region. So therefore, it looks like my only real choice is to head back and take care of Merrick. So everything else seems to be a little bit on the rough side at the moment. Right? Yeah. Now, I'm gonna do that. I guess I'll just... zip over back to way short. Yeah. There's the easy way and the... Let's pay a traveling race finder in order to get across. So, today I have successfully done... nothing. Wonderful. So let's head into the lore section. Hopefully I can at least successfully read a book. Right, those two items I read. The Digging Orders and AddOns Explored. Now, Rislav the Rightoeus. Is that the... No, that is the only one I have on that. So I guess it's time to read it. Rislav the Righteous, Part 1, by Sinjin. Like all true heroes, Rislav Larik had inauspicious beginnings. We are told by the chroniclers that the springtide night of the 440th year of the First Era, on which he was born was unseasonably cold, and that his mother Queen Lyaeda died very shortly after setting eyes upon her son. If he were much beloved by his father, King Morris of Skingrad, who already had plenty of heirs, 3 sons and 4 daughters before him, the chroniclers make no mention of it. His existence was so very indistinguished that we hear virtually nothing of him for the first 20 years of his life. His schooling, we can suppose, was similar to that of any spare prince of the Colovian West, with the allied tutors who taught to teach him the ways of hunting and battle. Etiquette, religious instruction, and even basic statecraft were seldom a part of the training of a prince of the highlands, as it was in the more civilized valley of Nibene. There is a brief reference to him, together with his family, as part of the rolls of honor during the coronation of the Emperor Gorius on the 23rd of the Sun Dawn, First Era 461. The ceremony, of course, held during the time of the Elysian doctrines of Maruk, and so was without entertainment. But the 13-year-old Rislav was still witness to some of the greatest figures of legend. The beast of Anakina, Darlak Bray, represented his kingdom, giving honor to the empire. The chieftain of Skyrim, Korik the White, and his son Huag were in attendance, and despite the empire's tolerance of all elves, Chimer, Indolrail, Neversar, and Dwemer Durmak, Dwarf King, were evidently there as well, diplomatically representing Resdain, all in relative peace. Also mentioned on the rolls were a young mare in service of the imperial court of High Rock, who was to have a great history with Rislav, Ryan Direni. Whether the 2 young men of about the same age met and conversed is entirely the stuff of historians' fancy. Ryan is spoken of in praising words as a powerful landowner, eventually buying the island of Balfiria in the Iliac Bay and gradually conquering all the High Rock and large parts of Hammerfall and Skyrim. But Rislav is not heard of again in history's books for another 17 years. We can only offer supposition based on the facts that follow. Children of kings are, of course, married to the children of other kings to bind alliances. The kings of Skingrad and Kvatch skirmished through common territory throughout the 5th century, until they reached a peace in the year 472. The details of the accord are not recorded, but since we know that Prince Rislav was in the court of Kvatch 6 years later, as husband to Belene, the daughter of King Justinius, it is fair to make an educated guess that they were married then to make peace. This brings us to the year 478, when a great plague swept through all of Cyrodiil, and seemed particularly concentrated in the independent Colovian West. Among the victims were King Morris and the rest of the entire royal family of Skingrad. Rislav's only surviving elder brother, Dorald, survived, being in the imperial city as a priest of Maruk. He returned to his homeland to assume the throne. Of Dorald, we have some history. The king's second son, he was slightly simple-minded and evidently very pious. All the chroniclers spoke of his sweetness and decency, how he saw a vision of his early years that brought him, with his father's blessing, from Skingrad to the imperial city and the priesthood. The priesthood of Maruk, of course, saw no difference between spiritual and political matters. It was the religion of the Elysian Empire, and it taught that to resist the Emperor was to resist the gods. Given that, it was scarcely surprised that Dorald did when he became king of the independent kingdom of Skingrad. His first edict on the first day was to cede the kingdom to the Empire. The reaction throughout the Colovian states was shock and outrage, nowhere more so than to the court of Kvatch. Rislav Larik, we are told, rode forth to his brother's kingdom, together with his wife and 24 of his father-in-law's cavalry. It was surely not an impressive army, no matter how the chroniclers embellish it, but they had little trouble defeating all the guards Dorald sent to stop them. In truth, there was no actual battling, for the soldiers of Skingrad resented their new kingdom's decision to give up their autonomy. The brothers faced one another in the castle courtyard where they had grown up. In typical Colovian fashion, there was no trial, no accusations of treason, no jury, no judge, only an executioner. "Thou art no brother of mine," Rislav Larik said, and struck Dorald's head from his shoulders with one blow. He was crowned king of Skingrad, still holding the same bloody axe in his arms. Right. And that was the Righteous. The Fall of Trinimac. The Fall of Trinimac by the Faithless One. To truly know Moloch, we must recall the story of Trinimac's fall from grace and the events leading up to his tortuous dishonor. During the Merithic era, a cult of Aldmeri dissidents abandoned the commonly accepted worship of Somerset Isles and began following a young prophet, Veloth. Boleliot had been speaking of Veloth in dreams and visions, guiding him to lead a new sect of Aldmeri with the belief that mortals could ascend to become gods. Trinimac's priests condemned the new sect for blasphemy and threatened exile should they not abandon Veloth. When the priests were to pass judgment, Beleth appeared, having swallowed Trinimac, and revealed the lies of Trinimac's teachings with Trinimac's own voice. Content, the priests were shamed and broken from their revelation. Beleth relieved himself of Trinimac in front of the assembly to complete his shame. We know not how Trinimac had been defeated, nor it is said after his defeat Boleth had consumed him with tortured his spirit and his belly. When Bothia grew bored with Trinimac's tortures, she released him from his prison and later exiled him to the plain of choking ash. This torture and dishonor left Trinimac twisted and enraged. Trinimac faded and was reborn as Moloch, god of curses. With his mind bent on revenge, his most devout followers changed to match him and became the Orsimer, cursed to wander in exile, a people without a place. Alright. Well, that was rather strange. Okay, on the holy symbol. On the holy symbol, Priestess Lawrence, one of the Queen Pretender's lackeys, has in her possession a holy symbol that could be disruptive to our plans. Find her, kill her, and take the symbol. Oh yes, it is the only relic in the site powerful enough to destroy the... Yes, we've already taken care of that. The corruption stones, they'll be able to cleanse the site eventually, but something will have to be brought in from Torinian and the Isle itself that it will be powerful enough to undo this. I think we already undid it. And smithing, a worthy endeavor. Smithing, a worthy endeavor by Quinamo, great sage of the forge. Well, assuming you can find a anvil that'll allow you to use it. Anyone with oar and hammer can fashion a crude weapon with an anvil, yes, but it takes more than a burly arm to grasp the subtleties of the art. Some of my fellow Aldmeri may sneer at weapon forging, considering it work fit only for commoners, but in doing so, they only expose their own pitiable ignorance. Unraveling the mysteries of form, function, and the effects of various materials on the substance of the weapon is an understanding that requires not only a sharp mind, but strength of body and patience through hours of practice each day. To become a master and create peerless weapons, much time must be spent in research, slowly uncovering new secrets which, in turn, lead to more revelations. One must study weapons from every culture crafted by many smiths, deconstructing them and analyzing the results methodically to identify the source of unusual properties. The weapon's shape, its component materials, and its balance are just a few of the elements that must be scrutinized. Of course, we cannot ignore the many types of weapon, each one from sword to axe to hammer, one and two-handed, in its own realm of study. Well, a spear would also be nice, but I digress. It is entirely up to the smith whether to pursue exhaustive knowledge of one type or to study a wider variety. But the end goal should be the same for all who demand perfection, to attain a comprehensive understanding of all weapon traits and how to impart them to any creation. As you can see, producing weapons goes far beyond making stick of metal to hit enemies with. The complexities of the craft run as deep as any magical study, and only through time, research, and practice can one truly claim to be an expert. There are those who will try to convince you the work of a smith is crude and artless. In such encounters, simply smile back, knowing that you are a worthy path. By putting in the requisite effort to elevate your creations through the relentless pursuit of knowledge, your work will be remembered in legend long after your detractors are dead and forgotten. Okay, and Tuhuaca Arkey Xarxesr. Tuhuaca Arkey Xarxesr by Lady Cinnabar of Tanith. It is not uncommon for scholars to note the clear similarities between the gods Xarxes, Arkey, and Tuhuaca. For a particularly uninspired summary of the obvious, see Psychopomps of Tamriel in their odd behavior Ferretus of Ilnihir. Nearly every culture in the continent worships these deities in one form or another. Indeed, the wood elves of Valenwood revere them both. I wish in this brief discussion to pose several questions about the origins of these gods, and then to speculate on the answers to those questions. We begin with Xarxes, as his worship at least is recorded in written history, predates that of both Arkey and Tuhuaca. An elven deity who records the life stories of all the races of Aldmeri, Xarxes appears in multiple creation or origin stories, many of which are inconsistent with each other. While some of these origins may be false, their multiplicity may also merely be reflections of Xarxes' manifold nature. In the two most common origin myths, Xarxes appears to either be Aureliel's scribe recording the events at his side since the beginning of time, or as Meredith Aldmeri, priest of Aureliel, who was elevated to divinity by the higher deity. The latter story is consistent with High Elves' conceit that they are directly descended from Aedra and can, in certain miraculous circumstances, apothesize and reascend to godly status. For the Aldmeri, Xarxesr records not just the life stories of individual elves, but all the connections, lineage, inheritance to bind them together and link them to their ancestors, as nothing is more important to an Aldmeri than his or her ancestry, and it is easy to understand Xarxesr's paramount role in defining and maintaining status and stability in Somerset's society. Well, yes, I suppose that is true about the ancestors thing. I remember that quest. Arkey, of course, is one of the 8 divines that were presented to the newly freed citizens of Cyrodiil by Saint Alicia at the founding of the First Empire. The official dogma of the Church of the Eight holds that Alicia was merely revealing to her subjects gods who had been watching over them all along. Scholarly research of documented fragments that survived to the time of the First Era hint of a different story. Kosi's Tamrielian tentacles are well known, but I have also had the privilege of studying Xanthrati's Netic oblations and the anonymous death song of the king Doradil and their original manuscripts. Comparisons of the latter two against each other illuminated several previous obscure passages in both, and the resulting clarification was an impetus for the paper. To come to a point, I believe I may well finally have enough evidence to confirm Xarxesr's speculative theory of Archean convergence. Most of my readers will doubtless be familiar with Xarxesr's proposal that the Arkey of the 8 divines is, in origin, a fusion of aspects of the elven deity Xarxesr with those of the primal Altmoran death god Arkey. My new translation of the Death Song and its formerly ill-understood plea of soul guidance passages makes it clear that the psychopomp being addressed possesses attributes of both the elven and Altmoran deities. And once the proper vowel shift is applied, and what is the name of the god? Arka. Okay, from Tuarka to Toarka. Alright. Which brings us inevitably to Yucatan's deity Tuarka. How long he was worshipped in what name by the human tribes of Yokuta is now unknowable, and all our race's records were lost in the cataclysm that sank the archipelago. But, as even old Xarxesr had of the wit of note, it cannot be a coincidence that the Tuarka performs the same functions for the Red Guards as the Arkey and Xarxesr do for the Tamlaric men and Mer. Are these gods really separate and distinct deities, or are they all aspects of the same deity worshipped under different names in different cultures? You must seek the answers elsewhere, for that is where scholarship ends and theology begins. And I don't know about you, but I didn't quite understand a single word of that. But that is beyond the scope of this particular Hobbit, who will now take a rest until I finally go out and try to rescue Merrick, I'm sure, who has been waiting for me for a very long time. And then I'll see you in the next episode of Pineleaf in Tamriel.